Welcome to another edition of Action 14. I'm Mike Briggs, bringing you information about the Plymouth area from the city, from the school, and from the arts. I start things out with Mayor Pullman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be here with our TV 14 viewing audience.
It's that time of year where we've got to get our budget ready for 2024. How is everything going with the city?
Rough.
Yeah.
It's not an easy year with all of the different price increases that we've had. We're no different than businesses and families that keep having to go to the store and get things or resupply the shelves. And it's our costs are significantly up. I always try to set a budget kind of benchmark for the city. I said, let's try for 1 or 2%. And that's a pretty high number considering where we are. And our costs are probably 5 to 10% higher.
Yep, it's making life difficult, isn't it?
It's very difficult across the board. And, you know, we're trying to find ways, of course, of saving money every time we turn around, and it's hard to do because these price increases just keep coming at us, and you need the equipment, you need the supplies, you need things to operate with, and there's limited inventory out there.
And we've got some deadlines to follow.
Well, unfortunately, October 31st is our self-imposed deadline where we try to come up with a preliminary number. We still are waiting for some state numbers on revenue sharing and different things like that, but it's very hard to come up with a budget when we don't have all the figures to work with, and it's difficult.
Yeah, and it's going to be a difficult time for you.
Well, like I say, we're hoping to keep it in that, 1 to 2%, and we might have to put some things off a little while again, but trying to keep up with our imposed lead abatement and road rebuilding programs. Those are things that you can't skip, and yet we're trying to keep the same service level, to our citizens, and that's important requirement too.
One of the things that leads to then is that I know we got some money, $1 million actually for our dam.
Correct, yep.
We got some deadlines there too, but $1 million isn't going to cover it.
No, we have received the preliminary report on the dam repair replacement, and we were guessing in the 2.5 neighborhood, and it came in around there. So our expectations were met. The $1 million that we received in the state award were certainly, help in that process.
Right.
But it's going to be, we won't have any long-term borrowing this year. Rates aren't out there very favorable for us anyway, so fortunately we're not going to push that this year. But next year we have to push it and get it done so that we get that approved. We also have some treatment problems that we have to fix down at our treatment plant and do a rebuild there, which is probably in the $5 million category. Keeping up with our road program and our lead program, that's about another $2 million. And when you start adding 2 and 5 and 2, it doesn't take you long to get to 9 or 10. And so we're hoping to put a package together a year from now that will give us a good bond rating. We've been fortunate enough for the last 5 years, 6 years, structuring our financial position that we're probably in the best the city's been in, I don't know, my tenure, but
Yeah.
for a long time before that.
Yep.
And so we're hoping to really find a way to, hopefully the municipal bond rates will come down for us. They're very favorable when we do it, and if we have a big bond issue, we'll have good bidders out there. So we're certainly hoping to limit it, but I can see 9 million a year from now.
Now, we do have some deadlines on the dam, though.
Well, we do, and we're supposed to have it finished by July of '25. And quite honestly, that goal may not be met. Now, we do have an extension process we can go through. More than likely, we'll be submitting that paperwork, so we won't get any penalties or anything. But that deadline, we have to have engineered bids out there for them to give us that extension.
Okay.
And so that's part of the extension process. We still got to come up with the money and the borrowing.
Yeah.
And, you know, then we need a new fire truck too, and that's $1 million. So, you know, $1 million here, $1 million there. It's almost real money.
It's tough.
It's hard to do, yeah.
Well, let's talk about something positive, though. I want to talk about the fact that we're going to have this year the most number of parades in downtown Plymouth ever.
Isn't that something? It makes my heart just bubble because something's happening all the time. I mean,
Yep.
a weekend, a month doesn't go by that we're having something that's active in downtown Plymouth, and if you don't go to this parade, you go to the next one,
Right.
and so you can pick and choose. I go to every one I can because I just love it, and it really excites the city. Everybody seems to get involved between the businesses and the nonprofits. Homecoming parade was, again, phenomenal,
Yep.
which is, you know, one of those exciting times for the students.
Oh, and the music parade.
Oh,
That was first time ever. It was
yeah,
very good.
Yep, and we have another new one coming up, maybe not a parade, but a downtown activity. So, yeah, I think that the more activity that we have, I know we have increased our parade budget a little bit at City Hall because, okay, those things, we still have to close the streets and different things like that. We willingly do that because it's the excitement that they generate for the community.
The last parade is the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yep,
That's
correct.
our Christmas parade.
That's our Christmas parade, always a big one.
Yep, Friday evening after Thanksgiving will be a big parade.
Yep, and we invite, of course, people. That's when the little kids come out.
Yep.
That's when you really start seeing things for the holidays start to blossom, and I think that's probably the one that I enjoy the most because there's so many kids. I don't know where they all come from, which is good, but
Yep.
yeah, it's exciting.
It's going to be a very busy fall here coming in.
It will be, and you know, I think maybe we need to give our hats off to our city crew because after every parade, within hours, things are cleaned up, put away, trash is removed, barriers are taken down, and it's like, okay, back to normal. So our crew does a good job, and I think that's what's very attractive to all the people that come and visit our community.
Yeah, and we
as
had
well.
also this year an additional sales game going on downtown. So we have been very busy down there.
We have, and if it isn't the chamber doing it, it's the downtown business merchants, or it's the art center. And they all seem to concentrate on different areas, and yet they overlap, and the variety of music just never ends. So we're very fortunate that we have the groups involved that we do.
That's right. Let's talk about what fall brings you also. It brings the idea of safety first.
Well, thank you, Mike. That's one of the big things on my list. I try to talk about it all the time, and in particular with the leaves that are falling after the rain we had, and people are raking them into the gutters for our crews to pick up. Being young, we all enjoyed jumping and playing in the leaves and having fun, and we really want to put the word out to our drivers, young and old alike, to not drive through those leaf piles. You don't know when kids are playing, you can't see them, and you come from behind one car and the leaf pile is there. Don't drive through the leaf piles. Our crews are out on a rotating basis throughout the city, so get your leaves in the gutter early. They'll get picked up, within the week, and they stay at it for an entire month. And we hope we get them all before that first white stuff starts coming down. But by all means, don't drive through the leaf piles.
Speaking of the white stuff coming down, is everything good with the city? Are we ready for winter?
Well, we are. We're very pleased that we actually received the big end loader that we ordered over 2 years ago. We finally got it. It's here. and we hope we don't have to use it to that extent, but at least it's here now. And so we have a good piece of equipment that'll help us out. We've increased our equipment variety significantly over the last 2 or 3 years. And actually in last year's Christmas parade, at the end was, I think, 5 or 6 pieces of equipment that were rolling down the street. For those that missed it, you missed $3.5 million of city crew equipment. It's not cheap, but it's what we use year-round, and every piece has multi-purpose, so it's very exciting. But those are some real big pieces of equipment, and they're expensive. But we're in a place now where we've rotated things, both trucks and equipment, to the point that we're in a pretty good position, and we're staying on this 5-year, 10-year turnaround. And that's why I mentioned the fire truck. That's $1 million. It's 28 years old, and it's not working like it should. We need good fire protection for our fire ratings, because we all pay insurance based on our fire ratings, so that's very important.
Let's not close out with also saying let's be very careful on our streets for Halloween.
Correct, yep. And there too, leaves are down, Halloween, the kids are out. Always slow down, use a little caution, and when in doubt, don't push it.
Right,
Thank you,
because
that's a good comment.
When we have Halloween, there's going to be kids and parents all over.
I think our city doubles in population during Halloween.
I think I had almost 200.
Oh my goodness, I didn't have that many.
Yeah. And now we get some kids from neighborhoods.
Yep. Ours is different than a lot of other communities, and of course you have relatives and friends, and they come over and join in your city activities, and that's good, which is all the more reason to be careful, because they don't necessarily know the neighborhoods, and they're dashing in between cars and stuff. So safety first is always a good remedy.
As we close things out, everybody's hired, and we have our crew is ready?
We're, for the first year, our police department is fully staffed. We have one possible vacancy in our Department of Public Works, and our utility crew is full staff. So we are up to speed, and of course, that puts a lot of pressure on us to fulfill all of the commitments that we have to the community and the services, but they do an excellent job, and they're all working together on it. They're cross-training between utility and Department of Public Works, and that helps us out too, because we can help them and they can help us, and it's working out very well.
It's been a good learning experience for our new police, you know?
Our new police chief is, he barely had his feet on the ground, and of course had our county fair, and now these other activities. He says, there's not a week off of anything. I says, well, didn't you know that? He says, that wasn't in the summary of the job application. I says, oh, I said, you got to read the edge of the paper.
Yeah.
He thought that was pretty good.
But anyway, yeah, I'm glad we're up to speed and 100% nearly, and
Yep.
ready for winter.
We're ready. Our salt supply is beaming. It's bulging out of the door. So we're ready, and it's just a matter of having good staff that are committed to keeping our city in good shape.
Good. I want to wish you the best of luck in these days before Thanksgiving, and
Thank
I'll
you.
probably
You too.
see you at the parade.
Oh, absolutely. That's one that I really like, yeah.
I should mention to everybody before we close this out that the city council meetings are the second and last Tuesday of every month.
7 o'clock.
Starting at 7 o'clock down at City Hall. Be part of what's happening with the city, find out what you can help, and enjoy yourself here in Plymouth. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mike.
When we come back, we're going to be talking with the arts. I'm going to have Donna here, and we're going to talk about some things happening in the Arts Center, also during the holidays. So stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Welcome back to Action 14. I have with me Donna Hahn. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike.
The Arts Center, 30 years of being able to show our Plymouth community that we have some fantastic people out there.
We do. We have very talented people, both in the visual and performing arts.
Now we have something that's wrapping up, and that's the Paint the Town in Fall Color.
Yes.
But it's wrapping up on the 20th of October, so we want to talk about the fact that it's going to be on display, though.
Yes. Nearly 40 artists participated this year, and they were out in the community, and of course started out fairly nice weather, but then it rained for a couple days. But we still have some beautiful artwork that's been created, and that'll be on display. The pieces will be at a buy it now price through November 17th.
Yeah, so you have through November 17th to come down to the Arts Center and see the items. And the neat part about this is that you're going to recognize where the paintings were done.
Mm-hmm. Most of the artists have painted in Plymouth, and then several of them went out to Road America and did some fantastic paintings at the track.
Okay, so be sure to put it on your calendar to come down to the Arts Center before November 17th and see what is currently on display.
Mm-hmm.
But you have so many things happening. We've got one item coming up the 1st of December, and we really need to talk about that, is you have the open house social and holiday membership exhibit.
Yes, so this is our big annual meeting, and it's also the opening of the membership show. So if you're a member of the Plymouth Arts Center, you were invited to bring in one piece of artwork, your original creation, and we will hang it during this show. And the opening night is December 1st.
So December 1st, you'll have a gathering, and with that gathering will be, starting at 6 p.m., there'll be some music, there'll be some
It actually opens at 5.
Okay.
And Mary Fellons and Dan Ogdovic are going to provide some music for the evening, so it'll be very festive. We'll have complimentary appetizers, and there's a cash bar, and it's just a wonderful evening. You'll see a lot of your friends there, and you'll be able to see some fantastic art created by Plymouth Art Center members.
And if we could say right now, just because it's membership, become a member of the Art Center.
Absolutely.
Support the games. That it's not, you see, we want to make sure everybody understands, and we'll be talking about items that prove that, is that it's just not painting art.
That's right.
It's called the Arts, plural, Center because,
Well, we have performances and, concerts, theater, and of course we have all our classes. So, and if you have an idea, we'd love to hear it.
right, be part of what's happening in the Arts Center, become a member, and then you could be part of this.
Yes, we invite everyone, everybody's welcome, all ages.
Again, the open house social and holiday membership is December 1st, and then on December 2nd, you have a concert.
Yes, it'll be a busy weekend. We have our Plymouth Art Center Singers, which is a group of about between 45 and 50 people. They're all volunteers, and they're directed by Barb Zerwis-Neisy. And Mary Fellons is playing the piano again for this concert, and Tom Armstrong. And it's just a wonderful mixture of music, and, again, you'll see a lot of your friends in the show.
And that's Saturday and Sunday, December 2nd and December 3rd.
7:30 on Saturday night and 2:30 a matinee on Sunday.
But you have so many people that perform in this and have for years.
Yes,
It must be fantastic to see them every year putting this together again.
it is, and it's a very entertaining show. I mean, it's not just your typical choir standing up there and singing. We're going to have some duets and some, quartets, and, there are going to be some solos and maybe a couple instrumental pieces. So it's a wonderful, and there's a little comedy mixed in as
Sure.
well. So it's always fun.
That is December 2nd and 3rd, Saturday and Sunday, in the evening on the 2nd and in the afternoon on the 3rd. Mark your calendars for, you've got so many things happening because the day before on the 1st, you have a gathering for your social.
Yes.
And then you have the singers on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, and we're going to change the room very quickly. We'll be working hard already on Friday night to get it ready for Saturday.
And then let's talk about the Celtic Christmas.
Yes, we have another Christmas show the following weekend, and this show will go on for 6 different times, so you'll have 6 opportunities to come
Right.
and see the show. And again, very talented folks. There are 4 singers and a band, a full band of like 5 people, and they just do a great job, and it's another entertaining show.
It starts up on December 8th. It runs December 8th and 9th and the 15th and 16th. It's just unbelievable that you can have that many things going on. You have two Sunday shows, so you have
Yes.
2 afternoons you can pick.
Right.
And then 4 different evening events you can pick to the Celtic Christmas.
Yes, and it's again a variety of music, so it's just not Celtic music, but a nice variety of Christmas music and Celtic type Christmas.
Now you've had this before too.
Yes, they have been performing at the Art Center for 10 years now, so the time flies by fast.
Yeah, well, we should talk, actually, you just wrapped up the summer with your singers and dancers, and that's been going on for a long time too.
That was their 15th year, yes.
Yeah, and you had nice turnouts for it?
We did, yes. Every Friday night we had packed the house.
That's great.
Yeah.
But now let's talk first also about some things happening in the world of art.
Yes, Liz Higgins has been busy. She's our education coordinator, and she's been planning a variety of different things. And some of the things that are coming up during the Pumpkin Walk, you can come to the Art Center, and we're going to have a drop-in event where you can paint tiles. It's for families, and it's absolutely free from 4 to 5:30 on that evening. And you'll be able to make some little crafty things, pumpkins, paint gourds, and so it'll be a very nice little event. And again, that's free. Then for children, Mary Starnicki has a couple different things coming up in November and December. She's going to do 3D turkeys. You can make a turkey with Mary, or make an elf with Mary, or paint a snowman, all with Mary. And then Liz will be back, and during the holiday parade, she's going to have cookie decorating and again some ornament making. So we've got a lot for kids and families coming up. And then, of course, we always have our adult classes ongoing with Lori Beringer, and those are 2 Mondays and Tuesdays in the month, and those are in the afternoons. And then she has a life drawing session as well on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month.
Oh, goodness.
So then we've got watercolor card making, turkey felting, and holiday wreath making with wine. And we end up with a wine and paint on December 14th. So lots to do at the Arts Center. If you want to, give us a call or check out our website. We have all of this stuff listed there.
Yeah, PlymouthArts.org.
Yes.
We'll show you the website that you can check out, but I think it's even more important to stop down. There's so many different things you can pick up and learn from. Just stop in.
Right. We have brochures on all of the events that are
Yep.
coming up, so we're glad to help you out there.
And we shouldn't leave because we should already talk about what's coming up
Yes.
the first of the year.
December 31st.
Right.
We're going to end the year with the 17th annual Big Cheese Drop.
Man, the Big Cheese Drop has made national television.
It has.
And you
Yes.
run it a little earlier. You're helping me out. It's not a midnight thing anymore.
Yes. We begin the festivities at 8:30, so bring your family, and we'll have hot chocolate and maybe some cider, and we'll have a bonfire. And we have live music by Too Cool, so you can do a little dancing, warm up. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have the Big Cheese Drop. And we'll also have our free cheese. The Sartori Company sponsors this event. That's why we call it the Sartori Big Cheese Drop. And they are supplying us with gift bags of cheese. So the first 250 families that are in attendance will receive a free bag of cheese.
Put it on your calendar, right? Yeah,
It's about a $15 value if you really think about it,
certainly. You have so many people that help support the Arts Center, and Sartori being one of them. But
Yes.
you have people that support everything. I can name so many here.
Yes, the business community is very generous, and we wouldn't be there without our members and without the business community, so we're very grateful.
So mark your calendars now. First of all, come down before November 17th, down to the Arts Center and check out paintings of the local Plymouth area.
Yes, and they're beautiful. They're absolutely stunning with, some of the fall colors and the green pastures. And
then mark your calendars on what kind of entertainment you want. You have everything that a person could look for, from large groups of singing to small groups and many different things happening.
Yes, and again, if you have an idea for a show, let us know.
Yeah, it's been 30 years in the arts, and it's been a marvelous time.
And we're going to be strong again in 2024.
There
so
you go.
Please join us.
Yes, well, thank you for stopping in.
Absolutely.
You have your calendars marked now. Stop down at the Arts Center and find out what's happening and all the different things that you could learn from and enjoy and make a part of your life. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, I'm going to have Dan Mella here talking about the school and where we are and how things are going here. So stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Welcome back to Action 14. I have with me now Dan Mella, Superintendent of the Plymouth School District. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
It's a beautiful time of year.
Glorious out there today in particular. Yeah, wonderful weather.
It changed very quickly from very hot to a bit cool, but it's been a good fall.
Been a good fall. We really got spoiled. Most of our sporting events that were outdoors were really nice days, and very few bad weather days until last Friday.
Yep, we had one big rainer.
That was an ugly game. The football game in particular, away at Sheboygan. First of all, it was at Sheboygan Falls, which is never any good. which is a terrible place to be anyway. But the rain was coming sideways, and it was cold, and it was not pretty.
But Plymouth did win, and so we should maybe let's talk sports then
Sure.
right away, because football and soccer are still flying, and to talk about football is that Plymouth, the conference is done. Their last conference game was against Sheboygan Falls in that big rain out.
Yep.
But they've qualified again for how many times in a row?
Yes.
Yes,
Lots.
more than a couple dozen times in a row. They've qualified now for the playoffs. And we will host at least one.
At least one.
If we win that, we'll host another one. And then towards the end of that, we could have Port Washington again.
Oy. Port Washington's dead. They're a solid team. But yeah, that soccer and football. Soccer was a conference champ.
Yep.
But they're both in this current week we have home playoff games. Both of those teams.
Right.
So that's kind of an exciting thing, and I think the weather for both looks pretty good.
I think
pretty
so.
solid. So the weather won't be a determining factor. Interesting fact about the football game is that we're playing Menasha, and a couple years back we hired two of Menasha's teachers,
Yep.
one at the middle school and one at the high school, and both of those people are football coaches, and so I'm feeling like we have the inside intel about Menasha, but they probably feel the same way
Yeah.
about us.
There's going to be some great games. This will be one of them because the playoffs always turn
right.
out to be good. That's why they're in the playoffs.
That's right, and you got to throw the records out the window, and
Right.
and seedings. There was a year where we were a number 1 seed and we played an 8 seed and we lost
Yeah,
many years ago. So
it happens.
It happens. You gotta show up and play and not make mistakes and all of that. So hopefully we come out on top and
That's right.
keep moving down the road. That would be great.
And part of it is at the end of sports season, but it's the beginning of arts.
Yes.
The music is happening as well as the fall play.
The fall play is Clue. Is it Mike Briggs in the closet with a hammer, or who is it? Yeah, so it's the 5th, I believe the 5th of November
Yep.
is the opener, or is the second? Anyway, it's the first week of November is when the fall play opens, so they're into their rehearsals and working away on things, so it's just kind of right around the corner for them too.
Yep. And then many of your music items now are going to start happening.
Right. You start into that holiday concert
Yep.
preparation and season, and the different, they start working on, the pep band is out working on,
Yeah.
sporting events, and they start working on their instruments already now, working towards solo ensemble all the way down the road, where we always have a very high representation and do very well. So, yeah, it's the beginning of all of that. And another form of art is our dance line.
Yep.
They're beginning really in earnest their practices, because most of their competitions are in later winter, early spring.
Yep.
So I do see them in the gym working out and going through all their new choreographies, I guess, and
Yep.
trying to be very competitive, which they've been a bit more competitive lately too. So they've been doing well.
Well, let's also then talk about the fact that this time of year is a budget time of year for the city, but also for the school. And what's really awkward, and you could explain it to anybody a dozen times, it's still very awkward how the Plymouth and how all school districts have to go through this. We're having an annual meeting, and at the annual meeting, you talk about a budget for the next fiscal year, but you really don't know how much money is going to be coming in from the city and from the state exactly to cover all of that. It's a lot of question marks.
Right. There is quite a bit of estimation that goes into it.
Right.
We do know, at the annual meeting, we will know, we'll certify, the citizens get to vote on setting the levy. We do know that the state increased the low revenue ceiling, it's called, for school districts so to $11,000 from $10,000. What that means is we actually, Plymouth School District spends the least, there's the minimal amount that you can spend on per student in the state is what we spend. I'm not proud or happy about that, but that is just the way it is, and we're kind of stuck there by state legislation because it's the revenue limits have been in place since 1993. Just the way it is. We do advocate for changes all the time, but it's political, so it sometimes falls on deaf ears. But because the low revenue ceiling has been increased, we're able to increase our levy a little bit, and it's also offset with some state aid. So there's both of those things we know, but you are right. You never are quite sure of exactly what those numbers are going to be. So there are always some adjustments that get made during the course of a year to either compensate for low estimates or make up for high estimates. And we've always managed in a very fiscally conservative manner in the district. So typically, you'll see in our budget numbers, typically we might start the year with anywhere from a projected $300,000 deficit to even maybe in some years during COVID when we were held at zero increase. For multiple years, we would project $1 million deficit, but we manage in a way, we withhold supplies, we do those types of things. We shop very frugally. We make sure all the lights are off and the heat changes temperature in rooms when people aren't in them and all of those types of things so that we can come out and cover those deficits. And we always have been able to do that. We also used our ESSER funds, which were federal dollars,
Right.
very conservatively, and we still have some of those which we anticipated we might have to use to offset another year of zero increase if that would have happened. Thankfully, that didn't happen. So we do have some of those dollars that we are planning to use in different ways to enhance our employee experience, to make, attract and retain people, but also also we'd like to do a couple of projects for our facilities, upgrades, and so all of those, if you're going out to bid on a project, you're never sure how much of those things are actually going to cost.
Yep.
And inflationary pressures are there too. So there is quite a bit of estimation, but we tend to estimate on the conservative side. Not tend to, we always estimate on the conservative side so that we have always ended up with having a little surplus at the end of a year.
Right.
And that's our intent.
And then you get some vouchers too we have to deal with.
Right, so in the state of Wisconsin, students, parents, families that want to have their students attend a private religious school can get a voucher from the state to pay for those costs. So even though it's a private school, state and local tax dollars are paying for some people to go to that private
Right.
religious school. It's been in place for a while now, and every year it's part of the negotiations between the Republicans and the Democrats in the legislature and the governor. So, the governor wants this, the legislature wants that, and so they've been using some of those, the voucher program as one of the tools for negotiation over the years. And so every year, as of late, the voucher costs for districts have gone up because the amount that families get in a voucher to give to a school that they send their student to have been increasing.
Yep.
In fact, this last year, vouchers increased to $12,000 for a typical high school student. A voucher, if you send your student to SJ or to Sheboygan Christian, for example, that student will get $12,000 of our local taxpayer dollars to go to that school. Whereas that same student here in Plymouth will only get $11,000
Yeah,
from the
it's
state.
a lot, isn't it?
Right. So the cost to the taxpayers for sending a student to a voucher school is actually higher
Yep.
now. And there's also no transparency with that, because the amount of money that that is being collected for the students from our school district that attend those schools is currently at about $900,000 of local taxpayer money, which comes to the school district on everybody's tax bill. That $1 million almost is included in our levy, but it just comes to us and it flows through to the private school that the student is attending. So it appears that we have, for the example this year, $900,000 of what's in our levy will not come to the school, but it looks like it is on the tax bills. So we've been advocating that it should be seen on people's tax bills,
Right.
that this actually is not an expenditure that's coming here to our district. Another interesting thing about that, sometimes people will argue, well, if those students were in your district, you would have to be paying for them, so the tax money would be coming there anyway. In reality, over 85% of students who receive a voucher have never stepped foot in a public school.
Right.
They've always been private school students. They were private school students in kindergarten all the way through their careers. So what's really occurred here, for all intents and purposes, is the state has created a whole additional education system that is paid for by tax dollars.
Right.
And that's the private voucher school system. Yes, there are a few students who have come from our school and gone to private voucher schools, but also there's people that were at private schools that have come our way. So it is kind of an issue, and it is what it is. It's the state and it's the decision and it's the legislation that we have. I just would prefer that it be out in the open.
Right.
So if we're spending $1 million of local tax dollars on students to go to private religious education, well then at least show that on the tax bill, so that
Yep.
people don't think that we have an extra million in our bank account, so to speak.
Yep. It is so weird.
Yeah, we're one of the very few states that it's even constitutional in, because it's been tried in a number of other states, and a lot of other states, it doesn't fit in with their state constitutions, and they haven't been able to do it there.
But anyway, yeah, so anyway, we got our budget. It's going to be happening. And then we get ready for another school year.
That's right. And some of the things that we have to get ready for are always facility. There's always facility issues and upgrades. And one thing that we're going to be working on is, because we've managed our budget well and we've managed those ESSER funds well, we're going to be modifying the entrance at our Horizon Elementary
Yep.
School so that it mirrors the entrances of Parkview and Fairview, our other two elementary schools, so that it's better for customer service.
Yep.
People come in the door, they look at you, they can see you,
A personal viewing.
personal viewing, but it's also safer because they have to come in, and it's not a buzzer system anymore.
Right.
Where they come into the building, they come right into the office right there, and so it's a safer, more customer-friendly kind of way to have people enter the building. But it does require us to knock a wall out and a couple other things.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Yep.
There's always something.
Always something to work
Always
on.
something. But let's talk about something very positive, and that's, well, for the first time in a long time, we've got a German student exchange happening.
That's right. We do have a sister city in Germany, and so we've had this German exchange with them a number of times. Of course, COVID put everything on hold,
yeah.
and then it just takes time to get the ball rolling again. But it's the first time that they have been back here in quite some time. We have sent a contingent of teachers and some students over to Germany over the years, but they're here with us right now. And so the kids come over and they stay for 3 weeks, I believe it is, and they divide up, and so the students go into people's homes, and they're high school students. That's the age we have here, and so they're getting an experience living in America with American families, and we get to learn from them quite a bit, and so it's always a fun time for them to experience us and us to experience them.
Also, before we leave, let's talk about the fact that thank Kathy Murr for her support.
That's right. Kathy Murray, longtime 17 and a half-ish years, I believe, is what the number is, years as our community education director. So we're one of the bigger and better community education programs in the state of Wisconsin, which means it's a broad way for the community to interact kind of as in the hub of our school district. Our buildings are used because of that on a much higher level than they are in other districts that don't have a big community ed program. And Kathy has grown that over the years, and we've gone from a smaller set of offerings to a much larger set of offerings under her. We've had big things like our middle school intramurals and some athletic programs now funnel through community education. Community education acts as a hub for all of the building rental, for outside groups, so softball, youth basketball, all youth sports of all kinds. All of that cycles through that hub. So she's been instrumental in all of that, and she's a really big personality too. So, but she's going to be replaced with by Carly Lenz, who's been a longtime employee in community ed, lives in the city as well, and so we're excited to have her.
Yeah, so community ed is still happening, just under different people, and it'll keep growing.
It'll keep growing.
Yep. Well, I want to thank you for being on. I should mention to everybody that the school board meetings are the third Tuesday of every month, starting at 5:30 here in the Plymouth Amphitheater. Be part of what's happening with the school. I want to thank you for being on.
Well, thanks for having me.
And until we see you next time, I'll be seeing you on the radio. Bye-bye.